Quiet on the set.
Matching again. Brilliant! Threads it in.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Plastics Podcast. You're joined by me, Jacob Burke, producer Maddie Gaylor,
Hi.
and in the studio once again is Blair Lacrosse.
I'm back, baby. Let's go.
The fourth day of group action has concluded, and some teams are mathematically through to the knockout stages, Liverpool and Ajax among them. We, however, will cover some of the lesser watched games that happened Tuesday and Wednesday, including a Wolfsburg victory over Salzburg and Lille edging over Sevilla to bring chaos back to Group G, as well as two ties in Milan versus Porto and RB Leipzig versus PSG. Champions League Group Stage 4 is edging closer and closer to the knockout stages. It's pretty exciting, guys.
It really is, Jacob. This is what European nights are all about, you know? Just some great games, some fun matches.
Before we dive in, Blair, can you just bring me a little Homer's Odyssey?
I was sailing a ship, and I was off the coast of a foreign island when I heard the most beautiful song being sung from its shores. I was drawn to the song, and upon arrival on the shores, I found not beauty, but terror.
What strange lands did you explore to before you journeyed back home?
So I was in Colorado for a few weeks and took a jaunt to Southern California for a weekend. So kind of a West Coast thing, I guess. Mountain coast.
You went to the mountains.
Yeah, I was kind of up in the mountains doing like the Batman thing, training with
Drinking
guy.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, who's this his character?
Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just really struggling with the elevation.
Doing a lot of martial arts on frozen lakes.
Yes.
And like sipping herbal teas.
Yep.
And training in very old wooden dojos.
Did you just call
Yes.
it herbal?
Yeah.
It has an H in it.
Oh boy.
Let's not go there. We can't go there right now. We don't have time.
I don't have time for this.
And that sounds like a lot of fun. And I know you also did a little detour to Palm Springs.
Yes. I was stuck in a time loop.
A little R&R. Yeah, for those of you that didn't watch the Hulu movie, you should go watch it. It's pretty fun.
It's good.
Yeah, that's good. Glad to have you back. Glad to have you back.
I'm black, baby. I'm sorry. I'm back.
Glad to have you back, Blair. Whew, there he is. All right, we're through. And let's dive in to some Champions League action here. We're going to begin with Bundesliga contenders Wolfsburg and Austrian champions RB Salzburg in a Group G showdown that needed to go a certain way if the group was going to be back to even Stevens after 3 matches. And it did. Wolfsburg beat Salzburg 2-1 in a pretty thrilling contest, actually. End-to-end stuff. I watched this game. I don't think you two did. The entirety, yeah. And it was pretty fun. So I'm talking, and I'm going to keep talking about this game unless you guys want to interrupt me with questions to give it a little back and forth.
I will say about Group G, the G unit, as some might call it, it's very tight. Salzburg's got 7 points at top of the table, and then the rest is 5, and 3 for Lille, Wolfsburg, and Sevilla, respectively. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that could really go any direction still. Pretty
it's in shape. They're keeping it tight.
Yeah.
If you know. Yeah, anyway, sorry. Moving on. So here's what you need to know about this: is that Salzburg lost, but Brendan Aronson was good, And I think that's really the important takeaway here. Brendan Aronson was the main man for Salzburg in terms of their attack, which is really, really nice if you want to see developing young talent for the U.S. flourish in Europe. And he had a wildly high XA, expected assist number, even though he was not part of the actual goal. Because Salzburg's only goal came from a crazy free kick from outside the 18 from one of their defenders. And I'm probably going to butcher this pronunciation, but I'm going to go for it anyway. His name is Maximilian Weber. It is W-O umlaut B-E-R. Weber. Yeah, so, but it was they were down one, and Weber just, I think it was his right foot, and he hit it beyond around the wall, and the goalkeeper didn't expect it, so he didn't really move. And by the time he started moving, it was too late. It just went in to the edge, and it was real nice. And I screamed while I was at work, and it was a pretty fantastic goal. Now the other two that Wolfsburg scored came from defensive laziness, as I put it on this Google sheet. Salzburg were trying to do the cool possession and pass around stuff, and that made their defense pretty forward. So the second goal especially put a knife into their side, as it were, with high lines being the nail in the coffin. And then the first goal was just no one picking up the ball that crossed through the 18-yard box, and it went straight into the goal.
Yeah, that's something that you're going to want to do. When the ball is crossing your 18-yard box, go for it.
Yeah. I think generally if all teams employed this strategy, they'd be pretty good at the old soccer.
Yeah.
The Salzburg forward, what's his first name? Karim Adeyemi, German international.
Very good player.
You'd think if he scored, and he didn't, even though he should have twice. Two pretty big chances. One should have been a goal, 100%, if he was trying to make a name for himself on the field. And that was in the first 4 minutes. And it went just wide of the goal. And you might have thought, man, this might come back to bite them. And guess what? It did. It did come back to bite them. And the second one was in the 49th minute, and he was forward. Salzburg went on this counterattack sequence, and he received the ball, and there was a defender just to his right, but he's a pretty fast guy, so he shot it forward, the ball forward, and ran to it just ahead of the defender, and he tried to just take it once. He was just inside the 18, and that went wide as well. I don't know if it would have gone in if it was on target, but those are the two biggest chances he had that night, and he didn't even get it on the net either time.
Yeah, it says he's got 3 shots, and Football Ref didn't register any of them as on target, but he did account for over half of Salzburg's XG, 0.6.
So when you have that, you really have to put those in the net.
Yeah. I'm gonna defend my boy here, Karim Adeyemi.
You're 0 goals on the night, boy.
On the night,
yeah,
he's got 13 goals in 16 games between the Bundesliga and Champions League so far. So he's pretty talented. I think he's gonna be a fun player. Although there is the caveat with Bundesliga.
Bundesliga, the Austrian Bundesliga.
Yeah, the Austrian Bundesliga.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Don't be confused. Don't be confused.
I am.
No, this is for our listeners.
I was confused.
So the thing is that both Germans and Austrians speak mostly German. So Bundesliga is it's just
they stole it.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't ask me about linguistics. They both use the word Bundesliga for their professional leagues. The Austrian Bundesliga having under a chokehold, from RB Salzburg. So you'll forgive me if I'm a bit cynical of Adeyemi's capabilities if he's only proving them in the Austrian league.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, 3 goals in the Champions League's pretty good, but yeah, I'll give it to you.
Yeah,
that group's not super.
It is
strong,
pretty even, which is it's bad if you're a team that is in that group. If you're with 3 other relatively equal teams,
yeah.
So you really do need to step up, and he's got 3 goals, but I mean, if you want to get to the knockouts, you have to be able to score against these bigger teams. If you're Salzburg, and Salzburg kind of they got into the knockouts, I think the year previous or the year before that, and I think if I would put Salzburg in terms of where they are tier wise, even with Ajax, and you speak of those two teams really differently.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that maybe answers this question, Jacob. But I
Yeah.
was going to say, then, of the 4 teams, because basically they're all mathematically possible to get out of the group, which one would you say has the best chance of making a deep or any kind of run in the knockouts?
Yeah, I think Sevilla is usually in those kinds of talks as a frequent La Liga contender. That's just outside of hitting distance, and Lille is coming off the back of a league win championship, but they just aren't firing on the cylinders that they were last year. Wolfsburg are now 7th, I want to say, or around there in the Bundesliga, and they are a good team. They have a couple of really hot hitters that I think people don't talk about enough, like Wout Weghorst.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, cool name, cool guy. He almost had a crazy volley that he scored on the night, and he is in the so-called peak of his abilities, so I think he's got a way to go. But I got to give it to my French boys, Lille. I was really into them last year, and they didn't lose a lot of their players like I thought they would. And I'm a huge Renato Sanchez truther. So
okay.
I think if he stays healthy, and if Jonathan David stays healthy, and my boy Tim Weah gets better at soccer, I think Lille could pull ahead for an unlikely slip into the knockouts, and then they might be able to edge past the round of 16.
Okay. 2 questions for you, Jacob.
Yeah.
1, do you think the little trails behind airplanes have something to do with Renato Sanchez?
Yes.
Okay.
And I won't elaborate.
Cool.
No.
I don't think we should. Also, Jonathan David, can we
Yeah.
make him an American somehow?
How is he cap tied? He is 21. That's not a good sign. Is Jonathan Google sound?
Oh,
He was born in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
for
I
crying
know.
Out loud.
One more time, Maddie. Okay, we don't need to kill it. I think he's cap tied.
I think he is cap tied. My underlying assumption was that he was already
He has
cap tied.
recently. Fuck. I'm sorry. You got to bleep that out. We'll do that in post.
why?
We're a family show.
We have sworn so many times.
I mean,
Half of the episodes are explicit.
fair.
Let's see. Okay, I'm on Transfermarkt, national team. Yeah, he's played 22 games for Canada
Yeah,
already.
there's no way. Okay. I
But
was
we
gonna
need
say,
to if he rips up his Canadian passport,
Here's the thing. We don't need Jonathan David.
what we want.
We don't need Jonathan David.
Yeah.
We don't need him. You know why? Because we don't play in a system like this.
That's
This
true.
is not a U.S. system. We need
It's
Ricardo
Canadian.
Pepi to unfurl his new American Eagle wings and fly with us.
Did he get like a tattoo or something, or are you just saying that because he's been playing for us?
He's been playing. He's now
Okay.
cap tied to us. He can't leave.
Yeah,
We've got him hostage.
sucker.
Yeah, so if Jonathan David can get going, that's really good. John Bamba is another one that is pretty electric on the ball. Jose Font, pretty old veteran for Lille that I think is a really valuable backline asset. And there was one other, Barak Yilmaz, crazy season last year. And I think there's no reason to think that he will drop off a cliff, although I don't expect him to put up numbers like he did. Although his Euros performance did not inspire a lot of confidence. Yeah, it's mostly narrative. It's not based nothing on what I've seen from Lille because they are last in their group. However, they're in a much better position now because they won. And this is the next game we're going to talk about. Sevilla facing Lille. Sevilla losing 1-0 to Lille's 2. Blair, this looked on paper like a Sevilla winning in extra time with a goal, from a corner. Can you take me through what happened here?
No.
Oh, Maddie, this was the one you watched.
Yeah.
Okay,
How about Maddie takes over?
I can also turn. That seems like easier for me to turn my mic.
Ooh, can I have both of your mics?
No.
Okay.
Make them touch. Can you mute me? I'm
Can-
gonna drink water. Thanks.
Can you hear? Why can't I hear myself?
I don't know.
Okay, this is gonna get edited out, right? Da, 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 da. No, I'm just. Why does it matter?
Oh, jeez. Okay.
This will give me a chance to.
All right. Can you hear me, Jacob? Do you need to mess with your mic?
Nope, this is good.
You can hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So this game was, in my opinion, pretty exciting. Sevilla's first goal came off of 2 bad deflections from Lille. Pretty quickly, poor defensive work. It was just he slid in to tackle or to kick the ball out, and it went right into his own player, bounced back. Goalie had a nice save, but it deflected off of him straight into Sevilla's player. It was just 2 poor deflections to put Sevilla up 1, but Lille came back pretty strongly. Sevilla's defense was really, really quite strong, but had a couple of players that just played a really dangerous game. Thomas Delaney being one of them. Thomas Delaney played just really stupid soccer for some of the time.
Can you elaborate on
Yeah, I can.
Can you ask that question?
Hey, Maddie. Can I be unmuted now?
Yeah.
How is he being stupid, Maddie?
So in the first half, he slid and took out, I think it was David, in the box, and Thomas Delaney slid and took out Jonathan David in the box. Definitely should have been a penalty. The announcers said it should have been a penalty. They looked at it and they decided not, but it was 5 minutes after the play. It was a very dangerous play. Jonathan David got back up, play continued, and then a couple minutes later, same thing happened, top of the box. Thomas Delaney swings his arm around, catches, I believe, John David again, and knocks him down. The play was not even around him. The ball was being crossed halfway, 3/4 of the way up the field. It was being crossed from one side to the other, and Lille's player was standing in the box, gets hit in the face, goes down, and the ball wasn't even near.
That's what they all do.
Oh,
they get hit in the face and
yeah.
it's like,
yeah. Oh my God,
Mamma
it hurts
mia.
so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna be able to see again.
Yeah.
Look at that. I made a shot.
He's Danish, so he would say
Mooder Mia.
So Lille capitalized on the PK. It was just 2 really bad defensive works by Thomas Delaney. Ocampos for Sevilla looked really, really strong this game. Really dangerous. I was thinking that in the first couple minutes, and then he got the goal. Weah did not make much of a difference on the night. Unfortunately, his appearance was pretty lackluster. Not much in the first half. Second half, he got subbed off.
my personal opinion,
Yeah.
you can reiterate this if this sounds terrible, is that he's played out of position at Lille. He has not played in a spot he can thrive in.
So Jacob's saying that Weah is being played in a position that he cannot thrive in. It is not his position. What position does he play in for the American team?
He plays as a left winger normally, as a left forward winger.
Well, isn't that what he played for Sevilla or for Lille?
He plays as like a mixture of a outside wingback or a forward winger for Lille.
Okay. Anyway, but that being said, Timothy Weah didn't have much to show, but he was surrounded by Jonathan David, Jonathan Akone,
Oh.
Yeah. Ikone.
Benjamin Andre, and Jonathan Bamba. 3 Jonathans that ruled the night. Jonathan. Bamba had an amazing game.
The law firm.
He had 58 touches. He had 29 accurate passes. He was feeding the balls through the right side. Nope, that's the left side. And Jonathan Akone was feeding balls through the right side. They fed Jonathan David and tried to find Timothy Weah. He just wasn't able to be found a lot of the time. But I think the 3 Jonathans together had a really, really nice game.
Jonathan David's got a very biblical name.
Is Jonathan a biblical name?
Yeah, like John the Baptist.
Oh, okay.
John the Disciple.
Oh, there was a John
Pope
in
John.
there? Pope John? Okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah, there's some biblical
2
ties.
first names.
John, probably that one guy that doesn't get mentioned in the Bible.
John
the butler.
Yeah, Jesus's hype man.
The pipes, the pipes. John's in the house. Yeah, Jonathan David, very good player. He had one shot on target, one shot off target, but he had a goal. So, 50-50.
Yes.
Yeah, he had the penalty shot. Very easily put away. It looked really nice.
Cool.
Yeah, the other thing that I was going to say about this game, I want to make sure that I have the stats right. Yeah, there were, I can't hear anything. Thank you. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 yellow cards in this game. 1 to the coach. It was, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There were 9, sorry. There were 9 yellow cards after the 77th minute.
Whew. Okay. That's, yeah.
It was
chippy.
left and right. Just, he was really card happy.
Huh.
Yeah, it was kind of a crazy last couple minutes. Sevilla was trying to get back into the game and get another shot, and Leo was trying to defend with their lives. So, any questions?
I didn't see the game, but yeah, let's hope Tim Weah can get into position.
Can
more
find
frequently.
his way.
Yeah, he's not saying way. I feel blessed.
All right, the next game.
Thanks for that wonderful breakdown, Maddie, on Sevilla Lille. And now we can say that Group G is truly the group for all people, a group for all seasons. Because now it's anyone's game and anyone can come in first. And it's pretty exciting when you're on Group Day 5 because sometimes things are super decided.
Yeah. As in groups C and B?
Yeah, and we will definitely talk about that to close the episode because I think that is appropriate. Blair, you saw Milan-Porto. You saw the second half of Milan-Porto.
Yeah.
And I saw the first half.
So together we make Go Tanks.
So together we are one game,
right.
one mission, one team.
One band, one sound.
One band, one sound, one race, one finish. Okay, I'm gonna talk about Porto because really that's the only team to talk about here because they were the only team that was playing this game. Milan were not good last night. Whew, wow. Yeah, Milan were not good on Wednesday, November 3rd, 2021 because they didn't look like they knew what to do against Porto. Let me preface this. Milan won, Porto won. So if I was a Porto fan, I'd be pretty hard done by this result. This was Porto's night. This was Porto's game to win. And they looked like they were going to all the way up until the own goal, which you can talk about, Blair. But
Porto scored both goals in this game.
Porto put both goals into the net. Words. Edit that one.
It's going to be awesome.
Make us sound smarter.
Porto scored both goals that night, yes. And I'll talk about the first one. Luis Diaz scored it. And I think Milan's defense is evidence enough here because Porto managed to get the ball forward around the 6th minute. And they just, on the way in, Porto stole the ball off one of the midfielders. I can't remember who. And they just literally dribbled into the 18. Nobody picked him up. They passed to Diaz, who was wide open on the other side, and he just tapped it in. That was it. And I'm trying to see who got the assist here because he did most of the work.
Marko Grujic.
Yes, he dribbled straight in, and nobody picked him up. Nobody. And Milan they aren't on this like weird transitionary stage they have been for the past like 3 or 4 years. They now have a team that is vying for a first place finish in Serie A. Veterans, up and coming talents, middling players that become fantastic support players. I mean, they really have a squad that can do it here, and they are last in their group stage.
You know, Jacob, I'm gonna offer some balance to the discussion.
Okay.
I didn't catch the first half, but I did watch the highlights from the first half. And I think if you're a Milan fan, you can reasonably argue that Bennacer was fouled by Grujic to be dispossessed for that first goal.
Okay. I mean,
it wasn't called, and they didn't defend it well after that, but he was dispossessed in a bad area. So, I mean, that's like partly on Bennacer, but Grujic then just kind of like simply had, like he was right outside the box when he took the ball off the tackle.
Like the rules in Champions League are a little different.
Okay.
Than like league play, which can be bad, can be good depending on how you feel. They allow a little bit less aggression. And yeah, Grujic, he hits Bennacer. Yeah, he hits him with his like left foot, and he goes down kind of easily, in my opinion. And then he hits the ball because he no longer wants to play the ball. He wants to go down. I think that was fair, personally, because I like more aggression in my defensive work as like just a personal style.
It's not an egregious foul, and it was also a standing tackle. It wasn't like a slide through the legs.
He wasn't like trying to knock him over. He was just kind of going for the ball, and he wasn't really. He was just trying to like push him off the ball essentially. Yeah. But it wasn't a sliding tackle, which would absolutely be a card, in my opinion. But I don't know the official wording on the UEFA rules, so it's tough to say whether or not that was a foul. Regardless, let's pretend that was a foul and that was called off. Let's just take the rest of the game and blow it up.
Sure. Porto
were the better team.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, like they should have won here.
Yeah.
This was their game to win, and it was just a run of bad luck for them. And I think Milan should walk away from that pretty happy.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this group, Milan's pretty much cooked, right? Bottom of the table.
Well, they're not getting first because Liverpool have a chokehold there.
Yeah.
And I do not know.
I guess Porto are on 5 at second place, and Atletico are at 4 points in third. So I guess like they're not out of it, but they don't appear to be super competitive in this group so far.
They played Milan. So Milan played Porto, and so in order to win, they have to beat both Atletico and Liverpool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, maybe Liverpool because now they'll field a
they
B
won't,
team.
Yeah, exactly. They won't play.
But
good
I
players.
can't see them winning against Atletico.
Yeah, Atletico they're gonna do their thing. The only way they win against Atletico is if Atletico get 5 more red cards in whatever fashion possible.
Yeah, I don't know what the game ban is, like the length for those 2 red
Yeah.
cards that have happened back to back for them. But
They don't seem like they're capable of playing a game without getting a red
Yeah.
card somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I don't. Maybe I think it's 1 game. So I think like who got carded last time.
it was Griezmann, right?
You're right. Yeah. So I think he's back.
I learned that from our podcast.
Yep. Yeah, Blair was listening. He was half our listens.
Always listening, always watching.
Oh, that's good. Okay, George Orwell.
Not actually afraid of water.
Oh, yeah. I was listening, and Maddie said that you guys watched some scary movies, and she said that you watched Jaws, which was her least favorite or the scariest one in her opinion because she, quote, doesn't like water, which I thought was totally insane to say.
Could
but-
be Maddie's little clever way of telling us that she has rabies.
Yeah, exactly. That's what she said when I brought it up with her. She's like, yeah, it sounds like I have rabies. Why did I say that?
Anyway, Blair, can you just quick take me through the second half? Because I think we've talked mostly about Porto good, Milan bad in this case, but can you take me through Milan's moments they had? Do they have any?
Yeah, so they had a couple. I mean, Milan did get a goal.
Yeah,
which
why don't you...
came in the second half.
Okay.
And that was, I mean, like they were in Porto's box with the ball, but it came off kind of a fluky play where Milan had a free kick outside the box. It bounced off of Porto's wall kind of awkwardly, which fell to Giroud. Giroud did his thing, turned and shot quickly, and Porto's keeper Costa did a good job to push it off into his right. But there for the follow-up was none other than, who was it? Kalulu. And he looked like he was trying to cross it back across the face of goal. But his pass shot thing, I'm not really sure what his intention was, nutmegs Porto's keeper. And yeah, basically Mbembe, yeah. Porto's defender had his foot stuck out in kind of a bad spot and it just bounced off and into the net. So I'm not sure without Mbembe being there. I think it might have just flashed across the face of goal. There wasn't another Milan attacker in place to finish it.
He wasn't like looking anywhere, right? He just had his head like back.
I think he was surprised that it came through Porto's keeper's legs. Who did I say it was? Costa?
Yeah. Diogo.
Yeah. So I don't think he saw that coming, and like his foot was just kind of in a bad spot, and then he didn't really have time to react.
Yeah, it was a bad run of bounces.
Yeah, so it was like a really fluky thing. Later on, Ibrahimovic did have one that he put away, but the pass leading up to it, I'm sorry, I can't quite recall who it was that received. I think it might have been Leao before he subbed off. He was caught offside, so that was ruled out. Also, in the second half, Porto had another really, really good chance where there was a header from Pepe, Porto's defender, who's like 500 years old.
38, I think.
Yeah.
Former Real Madrid player, Pepe.
Yeah. I think he's known for being kind of a bastard, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in a good way.
He's a wily old veteran center back, so they're all bastards at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, he flashed a nice header across the box, which found Evan Nielsen.
Okay.
He hit it strongly, and it just hit like dead center in the crossbar and bounced up and out. So that was like, he had a really good look and probably could have done better to finish that, but it's a game of inches at that point. So yeah, I mean, I think Porto basically had most of the attacking impetus for the game. So
let's if we're discussing Porto's attack, let's just briefly mention, and I'm not going to get this pronunciation. The last one maybe, but this one, Cyprian Tatarusanu. That's not right. I know it's not right because I'm seeing all the little accents on the letters.
Do it again.
oof.
Anyway, he's the Romanian keeper for Milan. Donnarumma left. Cyprian came in. I'm only going to say his first name now.
Yeah.
And he had a good night of saves. He let in a goal, but that really wasn't his fault because he wasn't the midfielder that was dispossessed, and he wasn't the defense that left the guy wide open in the 18. He had 5 saves. And post shot, expected goals 1.3. Not bad. Could have been worse. Could have been way worse. So I think he did good, and he kept it to 1. Good on him. Good on Milan for getting a point, and we wish them best of luck going forward, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of like this AC Milan team. I think they're pretty fun. I put in here in our notes that Teo Hernandez is pretty fun to watch. He had a pretty nice dribble where he kind of just did some moves, got around a few defenders, ended up losing it. Didn't result in anything, but it was pretty flashy play for a minute there. That was kind of cool. They didn't start Frank Kessié. Instead, they opted for Tonali in their midfield.
Is it Frankie Kessie, not Frankie Kessie? Frank Kessie?
I think I've heard it pronounced Frank Kessie and also Frank Kessié.
Kessie sounds cooler.
Yeah. It could be Franck, too. I mean, this like the ANCK thing. So there's a lot to work with there. And I think, I don't know much about Tonali, but I've known that Kessie is like a pretty highly regarded player. I think he's
up
probably
and
going to
coming
leave on
for
a
sure.
free this
Yep.
year. I'm not sure if this was kind of a rotated squad for Milan. I'm not sure what they look like in the league.
I suspect, this is just hypothetical, that Milan are now gearing for a Serie A mainline run.
They very realistically could do it.
Milan usually pretty, historically, I should say, UCL, a European Championship frequents. But I think this is one of the best times for them, especially given last year and what they did, to make a deep run to Serie A, get a Scudetto, and bring glory back to the correct region of Milan.
Yeah, I've heard some things, man, about Inter. I don't know. Maddie, you might have picked the wrong one.
Pretty trashy, in my opinion. Anyway, all right, let's, wait, say what?
Names.com.
This is how you pronounce.
Ciprian Tatarusanu.
Not even a little.
Tatarusanu.
I heard multiple syllables.
Ciprian Tatarusanu.
Ciprian Tatarusanu.
Ciprian Tatarusanu?
Ciprian Tatarusanu.
Tataro. Oh, you
was
kind of have
close.
to like swallow the
Ciprian, no, you gotta like Tatuno. Tatarusano.
Tatarusanu.
Well, it sounds like Ciprian Tatarusano. No, it's not it. Sorry, I'm not gonna do that. Okay, we're gonna move on.
I will say one last thing.
Yeah.
I think maybe Milan's best chance was an Olivier Giroud shot from outside the box that Costa had to do a pretty good job of saving from going like kind of not quite upper left 90, but heading in that direction.
If you're relying on Giroud shooting outside the box to score your goals,
Well, that's kind of my point. That was
Yeah.
their best chance, and it was probably like a 0.1 XG or less shot. So,
I mean, he does score crazy goals, but not like that.
no.
Normally, it's like him teleporting into the box and doing one of those like Doctor Strange things where he forms 100 different forms and then scores a scorpion kick.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, let's do RB Leipzig PSG. Blair, you watched this entire thing. This was in Leipzig. This was against French giants, French cash powerhouses PSG against the corporate syndicate organization of RB Leipzig, and
Cabal.
yes, the energy drink gang versus the don't drink this gang because you don't drink oil. Anyway, so 2-2, pretty thrilling tie in my opinion. I'm looking at the notes here and I just want to start the discussion here. PSG sat deep and countered.
Yeah.
Paris Saint-Germain, the team that team sat deep and countered. Why don't you explain that to me? Because I didn't watch this game.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's basically what they were doing. They were just keeping their sort of 2 lines of 4 and trying to absorb Leipzig's pressure. And then when they were able to regain possession, they were just trying to find the outball to Mbappe. And it worked a few times. Mbappe had, I think I counted 3 like one-on-one or near one-on-one chances with Leipzig's keeper. But he really didn't have quite the final ball on the night.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I was seeing from them. PSG started really slow, and Leipzig started very fast.
Okay. I mean, I'm looking at this lineup, right? And I'm seeing a front trio. Messi was injured or he was out. He was not even in the team that night. And I'm seeing a front three of Neymar, Mbappe, and Di Maria.
Yep. That's
Okay.
PSG, man.
Yeah, that's PSG, but we're now working in a system that counters with Neymar, Mbappe, and Di Maria.
Yeah, it was basically like, hey, where are you, Kylian? We're going to pass it to you and hope for the best. He burned Mukiele a few times, who I think had a tough time trying to stop the boy.
That would make sense.
But I think that was kind of their main game plan. For the most part, that's what it looked like to me. Leipzig were fairly front-footed and also pretty loose in defense. There was quite a bit of space to be exploited, I think, for PSG. But I think they started out this game really strongly, and this was kind of a game of swings in momentum. Leipzig had a shot cleared off the line like within like the first minute of the game. Their first goal came in the 8th minute off an Nkunku header, who is on incredible form and just had a great header to bury their first goal. And then not 5 minutes later, they had a penalty try after Danilo brought a player down in the box. I can't quite recall who. And there was a penalty awarded. Andre Silva stepped up to the spot, took the penalty, and Donnarumma saved it incredibly well. Donnarumma on penalties is frightening. That man can take up space. He covers the goal.
He's a big guy.
He's huge in the air. It's wild. And like
Keylor Navas could never.
No. Yeah, like this Donnarumma basically saved this game. There actually was a second penalty awarded to Dominic Szoboszlai in the 92nd minute, and he was able to finish his, but Donnarumma did get a hand on that one as well. So that man is a nice option to have in your net when you're facing penalties like that.
That's good for Gianluigi Donnarumma.
Yes, what a name.
It's good that PSG have that kind of depth in goal. It's good that PSG have the kind of depth they do to field a team like this and then field another team, this weekend for their French run. Why aren't they clicking?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think the midfield was a bit leaky, I guess. Wijnaldum had a good game. He scored both of their goals, so hats off to him. But I thought Danilo looked way off the pace for this game. Danilo Pereira, he was getting burned quite frequently, giving away fouls. I think you may have been able to say he should have gotten a red card for the foul in the box that led to the penalty, because it was a pretty clear goal scoring chance. But a red and a penalty, we've had this discussion before, is pretty harsh. So I don't know where you fall on that. But Jesse Marsch was awarded a yellow for dissent later on in the game, and they were speculating that he was still upset that there wasn't a yellow or a red given for that Danilo foul in the box. So I think he kind of looked off the pace. And yeah, they just kind of bypass their midfield in attack. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of strange. They seem sort of disjointed, and I don't think from what I saw and what I've seen from PSG that they look very primed to make a deep run in the Champions League this year.
Yeah, I see that mentioned, and I am left wondering as to why, when you have a team that PSG does, and I think everyone is thinking that same thing. Maybe it's the popular theory that when you get a bunch of stars in the locker room, things don't click as well as you might expect. I'm seeing Danilo Pereira, like you said, doesn't look like the kind of player that deserves to be in a starting lineup for a Champions League game for PSG. I think you could say the same thing about Presnel Kimpembe. Even though he's a Paris native, he's simply not up to the quality that PSG needs in order to be the kind of team that they're trying to win the UCL with.
I believe Kimpembe was the one that also gave away the second.
He's a reckless defender, and it sucks that Sergio Ramos is in on what seems to be an out and out with the team.
Is that what's happening?
Yes.
Oh, I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, not great. Haven't seen much of him because he hasn't really played much for him. So, Gene Wijnaldum, 2 goals, both of them obviously not the player you'd expect with the goals. I didn't hear at all how Wijnaldum scored these goals.
Yeah, so let's see. On the first, there was a pass off the left side from Di Maria to Mbappe in the box. Mbappe then crossed it to Wijnaldum, and he tapped it home. Easy goal. It was really nicely set up. Good bit of link-up play there, and Wijnaldum did well to make that run for Mbappe to find him for an easy goal. So yeah, he looked pretty switched on. Wijnaldum was like, he looked like he was pumped up for the game.
Yeah, well, I think it was his first Champions League start for the teim.
Yeah. I saw some quotes a couple of weeks ago, I think, where he's talking about how he's sort of frustrated with, just the lack of consistent gameplay he's gotten at.
He was
PSG.
the first of the string of transfers PSG had that summer, so I don't think he had any indication who he'd be arriving with, because as the more players arrived, the more claustrophobic it got in the locker room.
Yep. And then the second goal, there was a header across the box from Marquinhos that Wijnaldum then finished with his own header. So, yeah, he scored his first goal in the 22nd minute or thereabouts, and then his second came at the 40th minute. So,
looking like Wijnaldum and Ander Herrera should be, in my opinion, locks for starting on this team. PSG are heavy on the back, heavy on the front, but have a kind of a weak middle. Looking at the subs. We'll see how Pochettino arranges them. Last question about this game. Tyler Adams, how did he do?
I don't think he did like super great, but it also seemed like he was trying to do a lot of like last ditch defending for Leipzig. Like I said, like they were getting beaten on the counter like quite frequently, and so like Adams seemed like he was sort of desperate to like prevent some of these dangerous chances from occurring in the first place. I believe he ended up with a yellow. Yeah.
For a really stupid, like, it was a retaliation. He got bumped, and he, like, literally just, like, got really mad after the play.
Oh, he lost his cool.
Yeah, he lost his temper, pulled the guy down. So, like, he didn't have the best night, in my opinion, but I think Leipzig's defending as a whole was kind of not so great. And really, they sort of like try to defend by attacking. The less they have to defend, the better. So yeah, I think what they're trying to say is offense wins championships in this case.
Which maybe.
I do think though that Donnarumma probably kept this game at a tie. He did a really good job on a cross. He just got his fingertips to it, and there was not Emil Forsberg, who was Yusuf Poulsen, would have been on the other end of it for an easy header in the box. He saved a penalty. He nearly saved the second penalty. So I think honestly Donnarumma was like the brightest player for PSG in this game. Hakimi looked pretty good, but I don't know. PSG is just they're a weird one to me. I'm not really sure what's going on there.
Yeah, I think they are the true wild card of the tournament.
Yeah,
there are dark horses, but PSG are the wild card because you never know if they're gonna pop. If they pop off, it's game over, and you don't know when that'll happen. Whenever Messi finds his footing on that team, and whenever the team finally realizes we should base our system around this player, maybe they'll start making a run, but I don't think it'll be this season.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I don't think I would not put them in my top tier of Champions League contenders this season for sure.
They got really frustrated, and they ended up just going for the kill, basically, in the last 10 minutes. It was just PSG trying to literally kill RB Leipzig.
That is nothing new with PSG.
Terrifying.
It's a popular point against them to bring up is a fragile mentality with these kinds of games.
They were working the refs so much. Too.
Yeah.
Everything. Like they were just constantly like jawing at the ref and like trying to get calls to go their way. And
I'm sure Di Maria was at the forefront of that one too.
yeah, Mbappe had a really embarrassing flop, in my opinion, in the first half, and yeah, it was just like
Real bad.
It's like they want to win the game any way they can, other than playing the game well. So yeah, I don't know, but pretty entertaining match overall. I'd say Leipzig are fun to watch, but yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap up the episode with 3 points I've put at the bottom of our page here. First one I want to talk about is a certain Robert Lewandowski. He has scored 8 goals in the group stages so far. And he now has both the third most amount of UCL goals, period, ever in the history of the competition, and the third most amount of hat tricks in the competition. Pretty good player, maybe, some might say. Forefront guy for Bayern, and really just a complete poaching forward, able to defend, to press, to facilitate play when he's needed to, and most importantly, have a eye for the kill on the last shot, knowing where to be on the rebound, and having the best positioning maybe in the top 5 leagues right now. And I do wonder how much of Bayern's lethality is behind Lewandowski. I do wonder whether or not they'll remain toothless as the years catch up to him. He is 31, I believe, and this sort of form isn't forever. Something to think about.
Yeah, he looks like he's getting in like better and better shape like as every year goes on. There's just like every year there's another photo of Lua coming out of like Bayern's training camp, and it's like, he just got more muscular somehow.
Yes, he goes into an underground facility in Munich somewhere, freezes himself for the summer, and they send a clone of him out for Poland.
He's 33.
He's 33. Whoa, that is so much older than I. Okay, yeah, I mean, so you popular sentiment is a player's prime is anywhere from 27 to 30, really, around there. And Lua's actually gotten better and better after each year. Ever since he arrived as a first choice striker for Dortmund, it's just gone up and up and up and up, and that's good for him.
With Barcelona being where they're at, that group's strength is so. I think Benfica, honestly, are probably the second best team in that table right now in Group E, and then Kiev are not. They're the 4th place, but they probably deservedly.
I don't know. I think Barcelona are still better than Benfica.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, have they played a head-to-head? They must have. By now.
Barcelona they just played Dynamo Kiev, which was they just beat them with a goal in like the 70th minute from Depay. So they still have to play Benfica, and they still have to lose to Bayern Munich. So we'll see how they do, because now that Koeman's fired, and I reiterated this, I think, in the most recent episode, but a team usually sees an uptick in performance and a managerial change because players are trying to reintegrate themselves into a new squad now. So I think Barcelona will now pull through.
Yeah. They should look better. I mean, yeah, Koeman, I think that everybody just hated him. when all your players hate you, you're probably not going to play at your best form.
Bad times, yeah.
Their first matchup, there was the Benfica 3, Barcelona 0, where Barcelona had a red card from Eric Garcia, I think.
Oh, well,
Remember
that's what you get for getting Eric Garcia. Yeah. Okay, second point. Second point is Ronaldo pulls United to a draw against Atalanta. And in my opinion, a sign of the times that the United fans are using this as a celebratory moment to tie a team that should be theoretically lower than them in status, and using this as a prop for United, for Ole, for Ronaldo. A 2-2 draw should feel like something to complain about, something to criticize Manchester United. And I think it really describes the current state of the club.
Yeah. Cristiano Ronaldo must be like the foremost practitioner of the dark arts in all of European soccer. Like, I don't know what deal that man made or what pill he swallowed, but like how is he keep scoring like 90 plus minute, like last second equalizers or game winners?
Somewhere.
It's just ridiculous.
Somewhere in the outskirts of Manchester,
Yeah.
there sits a mansion.
Uh-huh.
And in that mansion, Ronaldo goes after practice, after games. And in the attic of that mansion, there's a large portrait of an old man who's wizened beyond his years, who looks like he's about to die. And every night, Ronaldo walks up to that attic and looks at it. And a transfer begins at the stroke of midnight. And his youthful, athletic frame gets stronger after every year. His diet of unseasoned chicken and raw fish and only rice.
Yeah, it's like that bit from Silicon Valley where he's got a blood boy, just a young man that he gets blood transfusions from to give himself youth.
Referencing the portrait of Dorian Gray for those who didn't.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think I mean I've got nothing to add about that. It was just an observation I made after like just scrolling on Twitter and seeing fans like Ronaldo. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but it was 2-2.
2-2. And guess what?
What?
Call off the dogs. Put away your flashlights, folks. Donny Van de Beek has been found.
What?
And he was at
Where was he?
He was at Old Trafford
This
all
entire
along.
time?
They couldn't find him.
Dude,
Like, yeah. It's like
Where's Donnie? Did you leave him at home?
Where's the last place the police would look? In the police station. Donny Van de Beek, I think, actually got to walk on grass this game.
Thank God for that collar they bought for him.
And also, I believe Sancho got some playing time.
Jadon
as well.
Sancho he's getting criticism for why I don't know. He's thrown into a system where that isn't designed around the one he was in Dortmund, and he's not getting playing time. Same with Donny Van de Beek. I don't know how you expect these guys to get better or like feature on a team if you just do not put them on the field.
Yeah,
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Doesn't make sense.
If you have a midfield of Rashford and Scott McTominay, who is he's worse than I've ever seen him play right now. And now you're saying that, we're just not going to play Donny Van de Beek. What do you have to lose at that point? Just
Yeah.
throw him on there. See what happens.
I think, yeah, I don't know. Ole wants to get fired.
Just put like Fred back. I think at this point, like minimally, Fred's a little higher than McTominay on the midfielder standings. Okay, you throw McTominay back in the deep freezer. Let him cook for a bit, and then you put Fred on the back, right? And then you do a little Donny Van de Beek, little Bruno Fernandes midfield action.
Sure.
See, just what if it's spicy? What if it's not? What if it's tasty? I don't know.
Here's the thing about Donny Van de Beek is there's a fallacy in American sports where the backup quarterback is the most admired player on any bad team, any bad football
What a
team.
servant of the team.
Yeah,
What an
exactly.
absolute voice in the locker room.
Everyone's
this man
always
must
like,
be.
if we just got that guy in, we'd be so much better. And that's Donny Van de Beek. He's the backup quarterback for United.
Look, I know he's not doing much on the field, but imagine the kind of advice he has to the players in the locker room, okay? Just think about it that way.
Also, I'm looking at FUREF in the profile photo they have for Scott McTominay. McTominay is probably when he was like 13 or 14 years old.
Still
Looks like a
deciding
little boy.
between like Scotland and England.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think what was my point here? United fans, or I'm sorry, not United fans. I can't control them. United, I can control them. Be better.
Yeah.
Be better.
Seriously, just figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Last point to wrap up the episode. We're at an hour and 3 minutes. I got 4 teams undefeated so far in the 4 group games. 4 teams qualified for the knockout stages: Ajax, Liverpool, Bayern, and Juventus. Fantastic results for them. They are now through. They can now relax and focus on their league games. Differences between these 4 teams, it would seem Juventus just don't stack up in the way that Ajax or Liverpool or Bayern might. And Ajax, while looking incredibly dangerous, incredibly fluid, really just the kind of old Ajax that you might expect, Liverpool and Bayern just seem a league above the other teams. So I think maybe, and I was looking through the XG while people were talking, and Juventus sit last on 5.2, and Bayern sit top at 9.1 on the difference.
Pretty good.
Really, really good, yeah. I do wonder if Chelsea's presence in Group H with Juve is bringing them down a little bit, because they're nothing to laugh at, but they're also in a group with Zenit and Malmo. So I don't, it's one or the other, I suppose. Liverpool have done surprisingly well. They were in probably the worst group, in my opinion. Porto, Atletico, and Milan. You don't want that.
Apparently they did.
Apparently you did.
Worst as in hardest, not worst as in least talented.
Worst as in the...
I was like, wait a second.
Sorry. The group of death in my IMHO. So maybe something to ponder. Juve, not great. Still undefeated. Maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something isn't. Ajax, pretty good. They're tertiary candidates for the Champions League trophy. Liverpool and Bayern. Who knew, man?
Yeah, the oldies but the goodies,
Depending on who you are.
The more things change, Jacob, the more they stay the same. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I tend to agree with you on that one, honestly.
I will say about Bayern, because I have been watching that. I watched their Benfica game, like in the background while I was working. Sane has never looked better.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Between playing for Flick and Nagelsmann, they have unlocked what he was as number 19 at Man City. He no longer sticks to a wing. He floats where he wants. He really is super dangerous going forward. He's not super selfish, but when he does take his chances, he takes them well. And especially when he operates with Kingsley Coman, my word, that they've got a fearsome attack going forward. I would edge them over. I would edge Bayern's attack over Liverpool's attack.
Yeah, 4 goals and 4 assists for Sane in the Champions League this year.
Yes.
Pretty solid.
Decent.
Indeed.
Pretty decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to have him back though. That's promising. He was
injured for a while.
rather injury prone for
Yes.
a bit. So hopefully he can maintain a clean bill of health, because that seems like a very promising development for
The Bayern
Bayern.
player labs once again pulling
Is he
through.
playing opposite of like Gnabry, or are they kind of competing for the same spot?
Now Gnabry. So Gnabry, it's tough. It's really it's a very fluid front three. Mueller hasn't played for a couple games now. He usually occupies the center, and then it has been Gnabry on the left, Sane on the right. But now it's kind of shifted to Kingsley on the left, Sane on the right, or Kingsley on the right, Sane in the center, Gnabry on the left. But honestly, you could just slot any number of those people in, and you'd be probably okay.
Yeah, it's a nice problem to have.
Yeah. If you have an attack which can afford to leave Thomas Mueller out, I think you're going to be fine.
Yeah, should be fine.
All right. Well, yeah. Anyway, that's all from me.
Excellent.
Okay. Blair, thanks for coming back and gracing us with your presence once again. We're glad to have you back in Brooklyn. Maddie, thank you for your contributions.
As always.
It's been fun. I'm Jacob, and we will see you this weekend for the Premier League games.
Cheers.